welcome in.
Thank you very much for the follow on Twitch. Thank you. Wow,
Well, hello and welcome to another movie review for MBE. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us here on our YouTube channel and, of course, our Twitch stream. I am your presenter for this evening, Stephen John McLaughlin. Your host for the show is John C. Walsh, and our good friend and walking, talking IMD for Indian cinema joins us. It's our good friend Ruth Aaron.
And I tell you what, Stephen,
we are going to be reviewing Yavarum Nalam. That is the Tamil title. That's what was on the poll, as John mentioned earlier, so that's what we're going to be calling it throughout the review. It is called 13B, Fear Has a New Address, and that is the Hindi version. That is the version John and I watched because it was the only version that we could get with English subtitles. I was stressing all week about this because I normally watch this film or our reviews on a Tuesday to prepare myself, gather my thoughts. I couldn't do that. I had to watch it last night.
Watched it last night. So you're now in my shoes. This is what I do.
Thinking on my feet here, but this is directed by Vikram K. Kumar. It's starring Madhavan, or R. Madhavan as he was known back then, and the running time is 2 hours and 18 minutes. That's the version on IMDb anyway, and the rating on IMDb is 7.3 out of 10, which I think, in my own opinion, I think that's about right for this film. But
that is fair. Yeah.
But anyway, I'm going to pass it over to you now, to our host for this evening. It's John C. Walsh who'll take us through this review experience.
No tolerable, Stephen. Bring this up. That's as us Glaswegians like to say. No bother at all. No tolerable. I like to put little Scottishisms in every now and again, because you've got no idea, people watching this, just how bad it would be for you if we spoke normal. His understanding is just now, my God, you should see me on a Saturday night once I've had a couple of drinks in me. Oof, you'd think I was Icelandic. But let digress. Rating system. Terrible as F. You will never see us watching a terrible movie because we would just not subject ourselves to that. We've got short time this earth and I want to watch average and above movies. D- through plus is an average experience. Pretty self-explanatory, I would hope. Good minus through plus C. That is. It's a good movie. A lot of good movies will be in there. That's why it's good. B- through plus is an excellent experience. It's an excellent movie. My all-time favourite movie slips in here. I say this every week. Cool Hand Luke. The great Paul Newman is in there. That's a B, but it's B plus. It's nearly perfection. A is what we sort of we savour for perfect movies. That is how we rate our movies. Keep that in mind when we get to the end of this review, or if you come in once Stephen's cut it up for the shortened version. Keep that in mind in the next 4 minutes when we actually get to rating the movie. For those who have a shorter attention span, which to be honest is me. I can't watch videos for more than 5 minutes before I start wandering. But look, getting into this, we watched a movie called 13B, Fear Has No a New Address. It's about to say no name. Because it does have no name for me. There's no fear for me of anything, unless it's an 8 8-legged spider crawling up the wall. That's the only thing I'm scared of. Stephen, you told me you had issues getting the subtitles for the Tamil version.
Yeah.
I tried to get it. I really did. I downloaded a version of YouTube. I attempted to
John,
apply.
how bad was the quality on YouTube though? This film on Prime is crystal clear. It's as good as it gets, but on YouTube it was terrible.
Tried to put subtitles to it, Stephen. It wasn't working. Just wasn't happening. So we had to watch the Hindi version. Ruth, you've told us that there's a couple of casting changes. I think the mother is different.
It's very it's just the mother that's different, and
Security guard.
predominantly in terms of differences in the cast, only the TV family they were different.
Oh, were they different? Yeah.
And but all the actual actors in the movie itself, only the inspector and the mother, if I'm not mistaken, I think only these two people were.
It's a shame for me though,
the rest all.
Because the mother was the mother from 24. She was the mother from the movie.
You like her?
Yeah, I was looking out for
so
that.
We've seen a lot of this woman, and I've been very impressed with her. I was looking forward to the connection. Turns out she's been recast for the Hindi version. Ruth, do you know, before we get into the meat and bones of our thoughts in this movie, how they tackled that? And is that something that is a familiar experience?
For this movie, they did what they do sometimes, which is more common now that they are using actors from different areas. Like they'll put in a movie maybe actors who are from the Hindi industry, from the Tamil and from the Telugu, and mix them all up. So they did a bit of that in this film as well. So what they do is that they concurrently shot the Tamil and the Hindi version at the same time. And because a lot of the actors who spoke, they could actually, a lot of the Telugu actors and the Tamil actors, like Madhavan was speaking in Hindi.
Oh yeah.
So it's his voice in the Tamil version and in the, because he can speak Hindi quite well, and he's acted a lot of Hindi movies. So that was the good thing. And then the actress, the one who plays his wife, she is actually a Hindi actress, and this was her first Tamil film.
Wow.
So when that happens is that if it's a Hindi actor, which some of them were, then they may have somebody dubbing their voice for the Tamil, but it's shot still concurrently, so you don't feel that kind of fully dubbed version feel, because it's pretty much them for the most part. Most of them were talking in their own voices, at least for the Hindi version.
I didn't really notice any jarring dubbing. I thought they'd do that. They'd do scenes and then redo it with a different actor, and so they get the sort of vibe, the feel of it continues, and it's I don't know, across the whole sort of languages. You've got a Telugu actor, a Hindu actor, a Tamil actor. They managed to keep the tone. I just picture the Hindi actress watching your woman from 24 whose name I can't say, and I'm not even going to attempt. You tried to show me the pronunciation with, even now I don't know how to say it. I'd imagine her watching her performance and then her stepping in and trying to do it. And if that is the case, I think there'd always be a degree of, I don't know, concern over them influencing each other's performance. I don't know, but I'm talking crap. That might not even be how it works.
I guess the difference would be in the mothers in the Hindi version and the Tamil is that Saranya Ponvanan has got a very natural motherly kind of way of acting, whereas Poonam Dhillon is a bit more stylish. She looks more like an educated kind of mother who's more stylish and all that.
And a serial
usually plays addict. A more down-to-earth type. Yes. It's very hard to picture the Hindi mother being a serial fan. Whereas you can picture Saranya being the type of mother who would be into watching the serials at home, that kind of thing.
You see, I'm more
I think the only disconnect.
I'm more in tune with the Hindi actress then, because I hate serials. Soap operas as we call them here. They're not for me. I grew up watching Neighbours and EastEnders and stuff.
Home and away.
Absolute crap bollocks. So I see that sort of obsession. I was laughing at it. I'm like, that's true. That's what people like, even over here. With these goddamn TV shows.
all the housewives and all the women who are married but not working. Usually that's the pastime. They usually put it on the background while they're cooking, and it's something to that, and it's something that they all can talk about with their neighbors, and so it's exactly like it is. It's one of
Neighbours.
those natural pastimes, like watching all the soaps,
Yeah,
like All Your Days of Our Lives and Bold and the Beautiful.
yeah. Story.
Bold and the Beautiful.
The Bold
I
and the
remember
Beautiful.
that.
That's when was that out?
It was out about the early 90s.
No, there you go.
That
That's
kind of acting.
just slightly before my time. Then I wasn't really compass mentis at
Don't
that
you
point.
recognise your own mother?
Yes. I just remember that
Always
from Jake Rewari, yeah.
inevitably a twin that pops up at some point. That's a murderous twin, or somebody.
I thought they'd done a great job of catching that. That's what, and we'll get
Yeah.
into it. We'll get into it in standout moments because I've got that's
Yeah.
probably my main
Yeah.
standout moment. We'll get into it though. I'll explain what it is. The story, thoughts on the writing, the character development, the way it ebbed and flowed, themes explored, and the ending. I shall go first here, and I will speak in an OE English accent when I say I shall go first. No one speaks like that now, John. I shall.
Me hearties.
We shall not. I really enjoyed the writing in this. I thought it was an interesting concept. To me, as someone who's a big fan of Ari Aster and his sort of thriller psychological horror, the slow drip way that he tells the story reveals things, and it's almost slow at times. You're like, well, this is slow, and then by the last 30 minutes it explodes into action. This was almost like a South Indian Ari Aster movie to me, because there was points, I'll admit, in the first 40 minutes I'm like, this is going a bit slow here. We're doing the whole elevator joke thing again. This is going on. What are they doing here? But they slowly build it. They build the mythology of this world, the
Jordan Peele as
concept
well,
of this TV show, the haunted house.
I think they've got the slow burn of Jordan Peele in this.
Yeah, and obviously just the way that just I don't know. They just at the start, I think it's a very evil entity in this house. We know it is. It's dealing some misery upon them. They can't put what you'll know what the god is. Ruth, I've not got a clue. They're trying to put the sort of pictures, the paintings up on the wall. They can't get them on the wall. There's injuries happening.
Yeah.
Then it starts to turn pretty nice. There's a lot of luck. A luck starts coming their way. The I think it's the brother has a promotion. The sister passes all her tests. He then has a baby with his wife. And we're thinking maybe things are changing here. I'm like, this is interesting. And then it turns again, and we start to realise that there's definitely something going on with this. I like the way they slowly told the story. That's what I'm saying. For me, in large parts, this wasn't an out-and-out horror for me. This was more like a thriller, mystery movie. And I seen a comment earlier on at the start of the review. Somebody says it was one of their favourite thrillers,
Crime
even
thriller,
to this day.
Yeah.
And that's definitely the vibe I got. This was a thriller movie. You're on the edge of your seat at points, trying to work out what is happening with this story, what's going on with this house. Why is it attacking this guy only? Because it's the
Photo.
yes,
I laughed at
it's the Manaha. Is that how you say his name? Character. He's getting hammered. Manaha. Manaha. Everyone else seems to be fine. They can share the lifts. They can go up and down. This guy takes a photograph of himself. It starts swirling. It's picking on him for some reason.
I thought that was hilarious.
And I was intrigued by it. I was intrigued by that element. I'm a fan of Ari Aster. I like the slow burn. I like the mystery and the unravelling it as we get further into the story. To me, that's just an observation I had in terms of the writing, in terms of the actual the way it flowed. It was like an Ari Aster horror. So that's right up my street. I enjoyed that. What was your thoughts, Ruth? I'll go to you and then I'll go to Stephen, because I'm pretty sure Stephen will just say much the same as me. I want to get a different opinion. I'm not saying that you'll say much the same as me, Stephen, because you're actually not a huge fan of horror.
No,
9 times out of 10, not as big as me. I'll go to Ruth to see what her thoughts were, then I'll go to you. Thoughts on the story, Ruth?
Okay, yeah. I mean, I've told you before that a lot of the horror movies in Indian cinema I didn't really like, because it would be just like completely ridiculous to the point where it's like you don't feel like watching it at all. So when they said it was a horror movie, I wasn't really keen to watch. But I think the draw for me to watch it was Madhavan.
Yeah,
I like his acting and I like him, so I was thinking, okay, fine. If it's a Madhavan movie, at least worst case scenario, he will be entertaining to watch. So I said, okay, fine. So I started watching it, and it really surprised me because it was at the point of time, I think that's why it's still so popular now. It was a very different approach to a horror movie, very much more grounded, a bit more believable.
Yeah.
And so I like the fact that the story unravels like really slowly. And it kind of draws you into the whole mystery of the thing, that even you are now trying to figure out what does this all mean, that kind of thing. So I like the storytelling well. And yeah, I thought it was well written, with one or two exceptions here and there, but other than that, I thought it was very well written and very well told story. Yeah.
Stephen, what was your thoughts on the writing? What was your thoughts on the story? Was there any themes grabbing out at you, Stephen, in this? Because I tell you, I'll say right off the bat, and I know you know what I'm talking about.
Total
Ruth probably knows as well.
creepiness,
She's probably seen the movie. Stir of
Yeah.
Echoes.
Yeah.
It's very much like Stir of Echoes to me, where there's sort of a resentful ghost
Well,
tries to get the truth unveiled and tries to obviously get justice from the grave.
but for the first half of the movie, you don't know that. You
Yeah.
think the actual spirits are. They got it into the main
Spirits.
character. It's all homing in on him, but it's actually
Yeah.
it's reaching out for help. The thing
Or the
while I was waiting for, obviously, to try and find how we could watch this film, I did watch the trailer, and the trailer portrayed it. I think it was only over a minute long. It might have been
Yeah.
a teaser, but it portrayed the film as an out-and-out horror. It picked all the best sort of jump scare moments.
Oh, there
from
was
it.
horror
And I
moments.
thought, okay, this is quite interesting. Actually, I like this concept. Once I saw the film, I thought, just like you did, John, I thought it's more thriller. It is. It's more, and that's my kind of
Yeah.
horror film. I prefer thrillers. I like a bit of thought into. I'm not a big fan of jump scares, and I'm not a big fan of it. I think it's very cut and paste sort of horror type things going on there. But in this, I like that sort of slow burn. It reminded me, the creepiness of this film reminded me of Us, the Jordan Peele film.
Yeah.
That kind of unsettling thing with the TV show. There's something really creepy about things like that freak me out.
I wouldn't go back to that apartment.
Yeah, no,
Not ever.
well, I wouldn't. And that was one of the moments in the film when he was with the inspector that he said, "Well, you can't leave the apartment." I'm like, "What? That's the best."
Oh, he
thing
says
to
you
do."
should just leave the apartment.
Yeah,
And he's like, no, I can't. No, that's right, you can't.
it was almost became an obsession to watch this show to find out what was going to happen next. But
Get your
I thought the
family to
writing
check
was
out
really good in this.
everything that happens with
Yeah.
me. Keep close tabs on me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought the writing was excellent. I thought, the main character was interesting enough before anything kicked off, and some of the lift things, it kind of dragged on a bit. I get that, I think
I liked it, though.
that was the sort of thing throughout the film where he was dragging the kids into the lift so it would work, and the little inspector, not the inspector, the
Yeah, he was like an inspector. He was like a car
what do you call
park
him? Yeah.
security guard.
Yeah, he was like, it's like a housekeeper of the.
Yeah, he's like the housekeeper,
the
yeah.
building, yeah.
The guard.
Yeah, but I thought it was.
I liked that
It had
scene.
a nice feel to
Yeah.
it. It had a nice vibe to it, this film, and I thought just that utter creepiness about it as well. I liked, because I do like that. It's the TV show was a good way of telling a story, and it was a theme throughout as well.
Mhm.
And I was more interested in why this was playing out on a TV show that didn't exist. And I loved the way it was. There was some kind of it was like he was doing a bit of detective work halfway through the film,
Yeah.
and I liked that.
Yeah.
It was
almost
a bit
Columbo,
I
yeah.
noticed when he was in that building, and they asked for the newspaper off the person to
He's checking the
check the
times.
list.
Yeah.
It was an English paper,
Mhm.
but when it zoomed in, it was obviously in Indian.
Yeah.
It was one of those things I pick up.
Stevens,
Continuity, I can spot a mile away. And
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
oh, that's weird. I'm pretty sure that was an English newspaper, but that detective work thing was very interesting. Him going to the television studio, it was try to just work it out in real time for us as well. Because I was very intrigued to find out, what is this TV show about? Why is this happening? And the other thing I thought, which annoyed me, was the three women in the apartment didn't twig. They
yeah.
didn't see their lives getting played out on the television. I was like, that's so obvious.
Yeah.
And the inspector
No, the
comes
thing
in.
is that sorry. No, because the thing with the movie with the women, I don't think they picked up on the whole thing, because if you notice, they watched the first episode, right?
Mhm.
And then after that, I think the second one they missed out on, because the serial was going on, and then they were remember the guy had come to fix the thing, and
Yeah.
then it just
He
so
has
then
the
they got
electric shock.
That's true, yeah.
they missed an episode here and there, and then she was in the hospital and they
Yeah.
weren't watching that
Yeah.
episode as well. So basically he's coincided with concurrently something happening. At the same time it was showing. That's how he
He spots
figured
it with a
out.
little his sister.
Because the sister exactly.
I think
Yeah,
the
he
three
spots it.
women as well at a
And-
point, they're not seeing the perspective of the Madhavan character either. He's seen these things playing out in real life. I suppose they're
And-
not seeing.
And
so,
I think
yeah,
I think
can get that, yeah.
Manhar, he's just the guy he's getting targeted as well. I think they realise he's the guy.
Yeah.
If they can get justice through from the grave, he's going to be the guy to get the justice for them. If they wind him up and start, twisting him a little bit, he
Yeah.
will go out and get the justice. And they were
Yeah.
right, because he does. He gets his police friend involved, and they start cracking it. Stephen, what you spoke about, you're into standout moments. That was a standout moment of the whole movie for me. I says that I made the comparison to Ari Aster. Ari Aster's Hereditary. I went to see that in the theatre. And what I loved was the Tony Collette character, and was it Gabriel Byrne? Is that the actor from Usual Suspects that was
Yeah.
in it? And the other characters, they're unaware of what's going on. They're learning on the go as the
Yeah, I
audience
like
is learning.
films like that,
They're
yeah.
in as much in the dark as the actual viewer is. So they've not got this, I don't know, preconceived idea of what's going to happen. They're
Yeah.
learning. The world and the landscape's changing as it does for the viewer. It's the same in this. Manahar and the family, they've not got a clue what's going on. He says that at one point to his police friend, I don't know what's happening here. I'm in the same boat as you. I can't do anything. I have to keep watching this TV show to have an idea of what's going to happen. Try and stay one step ahead or affect change on it as it's happening or before it happens. You see that with the wife.
John, you talk about that inspector and you talk about that scene where it's unravelling in front of his eyes, and you actually see the gas explosion.
Yeah.
But when they're running back to his house, it's not happened yet, and then it doesn't happen. That kind of confused me a bit, because I thought it's already happened, is it not? But that's
No, I've
Yeah,
got-
you see, the thing is that it
I've got an
would
explanation for that.
have happened if remember when he called her, right? She left the gas on and she went to answer the phone. That's what would have caused the irony of life, right? That phone call is what would have caused the explosion.
Yeah.
Possibly because she had turned the gas on. Obviously she took a while to light the thing, and then she went off, and then she went downstairs. So when they came in, they were smelling the gas. It was, but in a way that the phone call also saved her life, because he told her to come down.
Yeah.
So that's why it didn't happen. So they inevitably they stopped the thing because he knew. So I think that was part of the reason why he said they can't move, because right now he doesn't know why this is happening. So until he figures it out, whatever's happening is unraveling as it goes. So he still needs to have the information, so to prevent any disasters
I thought,
from
though,
taking place while he's figuring it out.
My explanation for that, though, was that ultimately this sort of dead family we don't know exist at this moment, their ultimate goal isn't to kill people senselessly. I think they just want to draw attention to what's going on. So what I thought was, in that moment, they didn't want to kill this person. They just wanted to get enough people involved in what was going on, and i.e. this copper. Allow him the police officer to become involved. Then they can start working together to unravel the mystery, unravel the death and the injustice that happened with I don't know what you'd even call it. I'm treading carefully here. Also, the character that's is mentally handicapped. They're trying to unravel the story, and they require that this police officer and his connections to unravel it. So for me, again, that was in the writing. I thought that was pretty well handled.
Yeah.
You don't want to kill. They don't want to cause this explosion. They're just drawing another figure in. And they ultimately, all they want is to get this uncle figure that killed them, who's connected to all this injustice and the atrocity that happens 30 years earlier.
If you really think about it, right, his character has to be drawn in as the inspector, because the inspector in the serial family's life also, even he was killed. So it's his ghost as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
think
his
it's just
ghost
good
as
writing.
well, because he figured it out.
Yeah.
So that's the correlation.
And this is why I'm saying the TV stuff's to stand out in the whole movie for me. The way they handle the
Can I ask
serial.
you guys a question?
Yeah.
The Manahar, is it?
Manhar.
Character.
Ruth can correct us. Is it Manhar?
I can say the title of the film.
Manhwa.
I can't even say the main character's name. Manhar.
Manohar.
Did at any
Say it
point...
again. Sorry, Ruth. Can you say that again?
Manohar.
Manohar, right? It's Manohar. That's
ah,
fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
I totally
Manohar.
bullshit that.
It just reads as you
Manohar,
think it.
Was there any point in this film would be round about the bit we're talking about here, with the inspector being involved? Did you at any point think the Manohar character is actually going to end at the end of this film is going to be his downfall? He's going to end up bludgeoning his own family through.
Well, there was a point through, at the end,
insanity, because I actually thought that's where they were going with it. I thought, this is going on Arlington Road to me. It's going to annoy the hell out of me.
I'll make an admission here. As we get into the last 25-30 minutes, I was getting confused at parts. I was like, what's going on here? They're locking this guy up. Is he going to kill his family? Does he think he's the guy that's ultimately going to be responsible? I think he sees himself on the TV show with a hammer, and he mistakes it as him ultimately going to be killing his family. I was getting confused at parts. I'm like, what is this? And I did think that it would end with him either being implicated in some way or being involved in the actual deaths. I don't know. But ultimately, he's a hero, and it'd be strange. It'd be a dark twist. It would be like Arlington Road, or some other dark story where the actual evil prevails, and that doesn't happen very often. No. I've not seen that happen. The only story in Indian terms that I've watched where it has that darkness is maybe 96.
Pizza.
Oh, Pizza as well. Pizza. But he's a bitch. Vijay Sethupathiy's character and that is a bitch. He's a little rascal, he's a weasel, and he gets what he deserves. He steals jewels from a bit of a shyster, a charlatan of a boss, but a good man who does his best to help him. So he gets his comeuppance. Manohar doesn't do anything wrong in this movie. He just moves into this house and tries to provide a good life for his family.
Could have been doing with a better phone than that Nokia.
Yeah, listen, those Nokias were classics, man. They'd survive nuclear bombs.
I like the idea of the TV and the phone, because at the time in which 30 years ago when that family was killed, the TV was the big thing because everyone was like getting TVs for the first time and in their home and that kind of stuff. And then now the device that takes everybody's attention away is the phone. And it's I think it was a bit more creepier and scarier because it was everyday stuff that everyone uses. It was like connected to a serial that TV is something everyone watches and stuff.
And what you said
so
there,
it's a very kind of like connection. It's not so far-fetched.
And what you says there, Ruth, about the phone and the TV, the symbolism of this being used to entrance and entice this family, to me that was a bit of satire on where the world was going. TV changed the world, enthralled people, it brainwashed them, it took them away from maybe living a more outward life, if you'd like. And then they go on to, at the end, the final scene with the phone, and again that's satirising the phone and what it's going to do. And it's ultimately, this was 2009, this movie came out probably before the iPhone really kicked off.
Like a little lesson there that maybe we are too attached to.
They're too attached and they're dangerous. They can actually be bad for you. It's so I like that. I like the satire. I like the themes being explored. But the TV stuff was a standout for me. I enjoyed the thriller elements, but and the mystery and the thriller and the main really did manifest out of the TV.
And I liked all the little clues, the kind of little tropes that they had with the number 13, being the door on the TV channel, the fact it's 1300 hours, which is 1 o'clock when the thing comes on, and and also the 13 is in the title as well, the way they wrote the Indian alphabet title.
I've seen that
it's
on the logo,
number 13, right? So that's the other thing.
The 13 flights of stairs he has to keep looking up.
The B, exactly.
I love that shot, by the way.
I love the shot with
the shot where it's looking down and he's looking up at the stairs and it zooms out. I love that. There's some great technical stuff in this movie. We'll get into that. Some work with colour palettes and stuff.
The bees, the stain on the ceiling, the playground, the blood and all that. So
the playground.
It's just like small little things that
that brings me on to the dog.
Notice,
That brings me on to the dog. Harry, he was called in the Hindi version.
I love that.
I don't know if he was called Harry in the Tamil version, but that dog, man.
Harry Potter.
Oh, he was brilliant. Loved that dog. A black Labrador. I says, I've got some notes on Harry. Have I got my notes in front of me? Lovely big black Labrador with slight aggression issues. This could be my dog. Died. He didn't have aggression issues. He just didn't like that apartment. He knew there was something in there malevolent. He didn't want anything to do with it. And you see that in the scene where the old blind guy's trying to pull him in and he's stopped him. He's like, nope, I ain't getting in there. Did you both think that blind guy was involved in some way? Because I did. Was he? I thought he was involved.
I sensed that.
Because he was smiling when he went down the elevator at the start. I'm like, this bitch is involved.
Because I think he was just like thinking, that guy said it wasn't working, and then now it is. So, I think there was just a smart. I think it was just the idea of, making the blind man a bit on the creep factor,
Yeah.
kind of like making it a bit creepy. A blind guy seems almost
I
scary.
think they had to introduce a neighbour as well to show that this
Yeah.
issue
Someone there.
wasn't in the building, it was just in this apartment.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
yeah, I think that as well.
Stephen, what was that movie with Samuel Jackson and your man? 1308?
1408.
1408.
The Stephen King film.
Kind of similar, not the same, but it's actually a
That
time
creepiness
vortex.
to it,
But
yeah,
but
yeah.
there was something in this specific room, and
Yeah.
it vibes a different Western horror thrillers, mysteries that I'd watched. Stir of Echoes. Ruth, if you've not seen Stir of Echoes, man, Kevin Bacon, you have to go and watch Stir of Echoes. It's a similar concept.
That film, sadly, that film was missed by a lot of people because it came out at the same time as The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Brilliant film.
Yeah.
And
I love the movie. Yeah,
yeah.
it's really
sort
well
of
done.
talk to me, and when he sits on the couch and she's beside him.
Mhm.
When I was a little kid watching that freaked me out. That movie, man, more than anything else,
Yeah.
it freaked me out.
I
The
think,
ruppery
yeah,
legs.
Kevin Bacon's a very underrated.
Oh, I love
actor.
Kevin Bacon. What a guy.
Yeah, I love him.
He's singing, he's here, he's dancing. The guy's in his 60s or something, he's still got it. What a guy. But again, sidetracked though, Kevin Bacon, sadly not in this movie. But we'd Madhavan, and he, look, totally unrecognisable.
John, I'm
Totally
telling you, I had to check his
unrecognisable for me.
IMDb. I was like, I don't think this is the same Madhavan.
It was unreal.
Yeah,
No,
because we
yeah,
watched him
chubby
in
face.
Vikram
he
Vedder.
started
Yeah.
off that way. He's got
Yeah.
the baby face
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah,
and
it was
that's how he
unreal.
started in romantic movies, and so this was, a chance for him to do something different as well,
Yeah.
because he had been doing like some romantic films and all that before that.
And it gives me hope,
And then
Ruth,
after that,
that you can get the baby face look back at 39, so there's hope for me still. If he's doing it when he's older than me, there's hope for me. So Madhavan, you've gave me hope, mate, when I had none, to quote Shmi Skywalker from
Oh,
The
dear.
Phantom Menace, a character I hated. But look, the dance moves, the dance, song and dance numbers. I know I'm watching the Hindi version, Ruth. You watched probably the Tamil. I think you've seen elements of the Hindi as well. The songs may differ.
Yeah.
But the first song and dance number, Stephen has a theory, it's to cut away so they don't have to put the rating up.
Yeah.
We don't see any sexual scenes
It's a sex scene,
because they're getting close.
Yeah.
But him running in slow motion to the camera, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was,
I enjoyed it. I'm like,
it
this
was.
guy's got it, man.
It
The
was,
two of them, it was a slow number, it was romantic.
photogenic, yeah.
And then the second
Yeah.
number, we had like a theremin kind of thing, the Star Trek, that sort of thing. It was like a dance number. I enjoyed that as well. There's some good song and dance numbers in here. And again, we get one at the end, I think, as well. Maybe. Do we?
Yeah.
I think we
Yeah.
do at the very end.
Yeah.
And what they do again is just give some levity.
Yeah, the music direction was done by the same group of people. It's just like
I
you
noticed
saw,
the names
right,
were different, the
Shankar-
song names were different,
Shank-
obviously.
yeah, Shankar Ihsan Loy. They are like a musical trio, and the Shankar Ihsan Loy is just their first like names, that kind of thing, and it actually stands for Shankar Mahadevan, Ihsan Nurani, and Loy Mendoza. So they are like a musical trio. So they did like some of the songs differently for the Hindi and for the Tamil, because sometimes some songs you could sing it with Hindi words and it will work. But certain kinds of songs, the just feel of the song is different when you make an Tamil film song and you make a Hindi film song. The feel of it is a bit more different. So sometimes you have to change up the songs. If not, it will feel like it's very disjointed.
I'm
to the
intrigued,
rest
Ruth.
of the-
Do you speak Hindi? Do you actually speak? Do you understand it?
I don't speak it, but I do understand it very well. I can actually watch a full Hindi movie without the subtitles pretty much,
Yeah, I wish that was me.
follow it. That's because I've been watching
Yeah.
Hindi movies since
Yeah.
I was young.
Yeah.
So you pick it up, and in Hindi it's a bit more easier to pick up as languages.
Am I
go.
right in saying that's the sort of national dialect of India? Then the other stuff,
Yes,
Tamil,
it is,
Kannada,
yeah.
Malayalam, they're all regionalised stuff. So that's it'd be like English. Then you'd have dialects. Like we've got Glaswegian, you've got the Dundee dialect, you've got Scouser, you've got London Cockney.
Yeah.
I'm presuming it's like obviously different words though, but we've got different words as well for our dialects, as we know very well. Dane and Elaine and stuff like that.
We've got Gaelic, so
Yeah, we've got Gaelic as well, yeah, so it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
You've got Gaelic and Gaelic, so I presume that's what it's like.
Yeah.
Another aspect I really enjoyed of this movie was the flashback at the end. When the shit really starts to hit the fan, the last 45 minutes of this movie, we go back 30 years, we see the killing of this family, the brutal nature of it, the jilted lover who kills himself. His brother then goes off his head and kills this whole family. They frame this
Shot in black
young
and white,
guy.
isn't it?
Sorry?
It's shot in black and white.
Shot in black
I
and white.
think
Stephen, we'll get into that.
I think the reason for that is the rating again. I think
just-
if
yeah,
they're
the
going to
blood.
show the colour blood,
The blood.
then the red, then they've got to up the rating. So
Yeah, right. What was the rating of this movie?
I couldn't tell you.
She might.
But I think
Uh,
if you're going to have sex scenes and
15.
have bludgeoned
It's a 15.
families with kids and stuff like that, it would be an
Yeah.
18 easily.
Yeah, it's a 15.
Yeah.
So,
Broader audience.
but
yeah.
Stephen and Ruth, I really enjoyed that. I don't know what your thoughts were on that flashback. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
We've been
Yeah.
building to this moment. We discover that this is an actual family that stayed there, and then it all unravels. We actually
Yeah.
go back and live it, and we see why this entity is seeking vengeance. It's
was-
still causing
yeah.
issues in
Yeah.
present day.
It was required. You know something that I don't like films that are going to paint it by numbers for me and explain everything, but this was required in the film. We had to understand
exactly,
the
yeah.
reason for this television show,
Yeah.
and I think the way they handled it with the flashback was perfect. I think
And
they still
yeah,
left
and
a lot
it's like-
mystery even after the flashback. There were still things
Yeah.
unresolved, like the
Yeah,
brother
I think-
had the learning disabilities. You know, it didn't explain and it didn't expose him too
Steve,
much.
you've done a
in-
better job of wording that. You fucker. I wish I had come up with that.
What was that?
Learning difficulties.
Yeah,
Which-
yeah. John, I've
Jesus
been in an
Christ.
interview before, as you know. I sort of
Yeah,
learnt the
Steve's
lesson.
been interviewed, yeah.
Yeah.
I just dance around things because I don't want to say the wrong thing
Yeah.
these days, because I know it's very dangerous.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
want to be offensive because I've actually got family members that have got issues. So I try to be
Yeah.
inoffensive. But sorry, Ruth, I cut you off here, man. You were about to say something. I'm going to
No,
say
it's
something
okay.
after you
Yeah,
that I
the
really
thing is
enjoyed.
that- yeah. Because the thing is that I think the way they made it is like it needed the supernatural taking revenge that the family was waiting for, because you bear in mind that it happened 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And in 30 years they did not take revenge because it needed, I think, the correlation of
The uncle.
that family,
Yeah.
the configuration of exactly
Yeah.
to a mother with two
Was it was the
sons
uncle,
and
wasn't it?
both are married and that kind of thing. So it's pretty much identical to the serial family,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then kind of like made it such that the supernatural elements kind of brought them to that house to
Yeah.
live on the 13th floor and stuff.
Yeah.
So it had to all kind of coincide for it to happen.
Yeah.
So I think that's what made it a bit more, that connectivity is what triggered it.
Yeah, it was
And
fake.
I think the reason why it affected only him in the beginning is that he's the architect, right, or engineer or something like that. So chances are he would have been the first one to maybe enter the home.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
to check it out. So probably that's why it kind of latched on to him
Yeah.
first as the main person to notice these things.
Yeah.
I'll
say one thing about Manahar. He's an upcaster. Throughout this film, he kept going on about this big loan
yeah.
to his wife. I'm like, oh, shut
Destroyed
up, man.
his younger sister as well.
Yeah.
Says she was a failure. You failed 7 times or something. Every lesson, at every subject.
Right, we get it.
Yeah.
That's
we
a
get
bit
it.
harsh.
You and your brother took out a mortgage. We get
We
it.
get it. It's getting cleared off in 15 years. You got a promotion. Come on, get over it already. Jesus Christ. Was it the uncle that killed?
It's normal teasing, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, listen.
uncle?
Oh, yeah. Was it the uncle that killed the original family? Because they say when the guy comes in, uncle, it's revealed he was connected to the guy that committed suicide, who was refused marriage. Was that the uncle of that family? And that's why
No,
also the
the-
entity was there as well, because he was connected to the family, because he was in the house and she
Yeah,
was calling him
I
uncle.
get what you
in the
mean,
Hindi
John, as
version.
well, 'cause I thought that, but I don't think it was.
Was it not? It was
Um,
just some random man.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Which one? No, I mean the doctor, right? He's the one who actually murdered.
Yeah,
the
was it the
family.
doctor?
Doctor,
Because
yeah.
well, and I don't know in my version. I don't know if I'm watching the same version, but it's the wife. I'll bring her name up. I'm pretty sure this was the wife prior. She's saying, "Uncle, what is it, Uncle?" I'm like, "What?"
Is that not a
That's-
terminology thing?
Well,
Maybe.
It's a respect thing.
Yeah.
Oh, there
It's
you
a
go. Yeah.
respect thing. You see,
Yeah.
when Indians they usually anyone
Be calling some random that came into my house uncle. I'd be like, "Fuck it out."
John, I hate to break it to you, but our community, all those guys that say brother, no, our brothers.
I know.
Yeah,
yes, I know.
See, I thought that as well.
In
I thought he's a
in
doctor,
the
he's not the
Indian
uncle. What the
community,
what's going on here?
is a
Yeah,
kind
'cause
of
the uncle-
respect.
The doctor was absolutely. He was sent to everything.
Yeah.
He was the guy that sort of sparked this
Uh-huh.
idea in Manahar's head when he was watching the TV
Yeah.
show of spirits of good and bad and evil. He was the sort of guy that went spoke to him as
Yeah.
well, so he was
Yeah.
kind of prevalent throughout. So that makes sense now.
Yeah.
The final
Yeah,
scene.
because he's
Sorry.
Because his brother had fallen in love with the girl watching her
You're
on
having it,
TV
Stephen.
as a reporter.
Because I thought that as
And
well.
so he came in, exactly, and then it's just a matter of the sign of respect that you
Yeah.
have. You would call uncle, like you see in the movie 96, right? He refers to the girl as his sister, but she's not really his sister. She's just somebody
Yeah.
in,
That's another
they
you can
grew
call
up
my
together
uncle,
and
proper
then
uncle's
more
uncle.
neighbours kind of thing,
I call them other names.
That's a good point, Ruth, because I've noticed that in a few Indian films we've watched where the man
call brother or sister
who's
and that kind of
romantically
thing.
connected to the lady will call her sister, and
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on?
Bye's
That's a
another
bit
one that gets
strange.
used a lot, isn't it? Harsh had made a story they were using bye a lot. I think that may mean brother. Am I right? Bye. Is bye?
Bye,
Brother.
In
So
Hindi,
they use it a
yeah.
lot. Yeah, I know. Okay, I know.
Yeah.
The sort of near death situation at the end though, where he hammers the sort of the father, I want to say, and it changes to the father from 30 years ago, and
Yep.
he's smiling
Yep.
at the doctor. I thought that was brilliant. I enjoyed
John,
that one.
that was one
was
of my
pure evil.
standouts. That was one of my standouts, but it could
Was that
get
not
into-
brilliant scene? It
It
was
could
subtle.
get into technical
Technical.
as well. That scene, I thought,
Was that not great?
yeah, the way they just morphed into the older family, or the
Because he got him
family
hook,
from
line.
30
He
years ago was fantastic.
caught him hook, line, and sinker there.
Yeah, that was
He'd
great.
finally committed an
Yeah.
act. He'd brought out the primate in Manaha. He goes and kills him. But just before that, it changes to the serial father with the glasses, and he's smiling ear to ear. I'm like, oh, that's great. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
Visually, that was really well done.
But
Technical.
that was actually the elder brother. It's
Oh.
not the father.
Oh, was that the older brother? The guy who was smiling?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
It was good though. I enjoyed it, the change. Technical stuff. We'll get into technical stuff. The colour palettes in this movie, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it
Yeah.
quite a bit. I don't know if you've noticed this, but see at the start in the apartment, did you? I don't know if it's just me. Maybe my monitor was watching it on. I don't know. I may be making things up here. But it was like a yellow sepia. It was almost washed out. And it was as if there was a disconnect with the world outside when they were in this apartment. It didn't happen afterwards. It was just in the first sort of sequence. But then when he leaves to go to the elevator, it's back to normal. I quite like that. I see what they're doing there. They're creating this foreboding atmosphere in this apartment. And then just the other, just the colour palettes, the black and white stuff you touched
I like
upon,
that.
Steve, in the flashback. Given this, it probably was for rating circumstances, as you says, to cover up the body and stuff. But I just thought that was cool. We're going back 30 years. Let's make it black and white. Why not? Because it was black and white back then, wasn't it? Everything was black and white.
I also love the scene. I love the scene where the one with the phone where he steps out of he takes a photograph of himself and then he realizes he's outside the house and then he purposely steps back in the house. to
See
take
the
a
best bit with
photograph.
that phone
So
stuff?
by then it's like he's already starting to see it himself.
Yeah.
And I think that's also the premise, that because it's after all that happened that he sits in front of the TV, to watch this.
Yeah.
So it's like he's already kind of prepped
Yeah.
to pick up on.
The best bit with the
Stuff,
phone
yeah.
for me was when the little nephew takes a photo of him and it turns real time,
Yeah,
spirals.
that was good.
He
Yeah,
takes
yeah.
it as a technical aspect, it was good, but then he takes a photo, he sees it, takes a photo of his mother, it's normal, turns it
Yeah.
about, takes a photo, we can see it smiling again. I'm like, you're screwing me.
Exactly. And instead
You're
the-
done.
yeah.
You
John,
are
it would
done.
have been good if you go to our thumbnails for this this video to be like that. That
Yeah,
sort of
wouldn't that
squared
be
away the
brilliant?
three of
Yeah,
us.
it would.
That's good.
The spiral, yeah. I could do it.
Wow.
It wouldn't be hard to do. But yeah, technical stuff, I really enjoyed the technical aspects in this movie. I thought it was pretty well edited. It was 2 hours 21 minutes long. You factor in the song and dance number, it's probably a 2 hour movie.
Yeah.
It was pretty taut, to use a fancy pants word,
Mhm.
or succinct, to use another fancy pants word. I thought it was well edited. There wasn't really a sequence I would take out. Maybe at the start, you could, if you were being nitpicking, you could say it was slow.
Yeah.
And it took a while to build, but I says before, that's Ari Aster style. They let you
I
build,
think,
set you in
John,
this world,
yeah.
envelop you, then just let the
I
shit
always
hit the
think
fan.
in this genre that the cinematographer's very underappreciated, because you're not going to get those wide shots or anything like that. Everything's close quarters. Certainly in this film, it all takes predominantly in the apartment. So
Yeah.
you're going to get those shots. I thought that shot with Priya being electrocuted was fantastic, the way they did it.
Yeah.
It was quite
Yeah.
oh my God, did you see that kind of moment?
I knew
you
it was
know?
coming though.
Yeah, it was
I knew
fantastic
it was
though.
coming.
Sriram is PC Sriram is a very very good cinematographer, and he actually works across the board, and a lot of people know his name because he's really good at what he does. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And also like the shots where whenever they showed Madhavan, Manohar trying to feel like a bit confused, he would shake the camera.
Yeah.
Like it
yeah.
would just kind of jostle for a little while,
It's sort of
just
shaking.
to show that confused.
adrenaline.
Every time you'd have a moment of confusion, they will just kind of like shake the camera.
It's
a
little
bit.
sort of things
So
like
I
that.
think there's a lot of silence in the movie. There were parts where there's not a lot of like talking, and that was the only response you would get, and it's like I thought it was good. Yeah.
Look, there's an art to filming horror thriller movies. As you said, Stephen, close quarters. Really the dogs let one rip. It's not good. It's not good. Why did I
Struck
continue to
match.
lay this Labrador in this room? You're killing me, mate. There's an art to capturing the emotion, capturing that sort of suspense, on edge feeling, looking at certain aspects of the house or something. I thought in the Invisible Man that was an absolute example of the mastery in capturing a sort of horror movie indoors primarily. I thought it was very well shot. I was very impressed with PC Sriram. If that's how you say his name, he just says it. PC Sriram. Sounds like a DJ. PC Sriram. And another one. I thought it was well captured. The editing, as I said, it was Shrikar Prasad who did it. I don't know why there's double in everything. Maybe it's because it's Hindi Tamil. They're doing double. But I thought it was very well edited. In the score, I did enjoy the score. 3 composers on this score. 3.
Yeah.
I presume Shankar Mahadevan is the main man, and these other guys are just underlings. But I thought the score was very well handled.
They're actually kind of like equal in the sense that they form a musical trio.
Oh, yeah.
And they work together most of the time. Once in a while, they work separately. Especially Shankar Mahadevan. He also he's
I see
a very
they've
good
got
singer
the
as
same
well, so
titles,
yeah.
Mm.
So so basically they kind of like that's their musical trios. Like they do a lot of kind of like band stuff as well together. Yeah. So
Just looking at this movie they're involved in, Bag Milka Bag, and this leading man, Farhan actor, the guy's muscles are a joke. His deltoid definition in his arms. Look at this guy, Steve. Is that not a joke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Dwayne Johnson.
Amazing.
It's unbelievable. Jesus Christ,
yeah,
I continue to be amazed.
It's a really good movie to watch also.
Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed the technical aspects of this movie. That's what I'm saying. I'm getting sidetracked here. I thought they were quite impressive.
Yeah.
And look, you need all of them to come together. You need to have a total experience when it's horror. Horror movies over here are usually the hour and a half mark, maybe an hour 45. Unless you're dealing with it, and it's your man, don't know what his name is, mad Italian name guy. They like to draw it out to like 3 hours. But usually they're quite succinct experiences, and you need it to be taught. You need it to be well edited, or you lose the viewer. And that's what makes Ari Aster so special. He can do a 2.5 hour horror movie. Let it just, you settle in for the first hour, then he's just got you hook, line, sinker. I thought this was similar to an extent.
I thought that as well, John. I thought that, when you look back at the film and its premise, and you go, this is these are spirits that are communicating through a made-up television show. That's what the premise of the reaching out to the living world, and that's it. Now, how do you stretch that over 2 hours? And you have to be very clever at doing that, and you're absolutely right. I think the editing in this, especially with the horror genre, has to be bang on, because you will lose the audience member, because for the biggest majority of any horror film, it's about the build-up of the suspense, and if you peak too early, the film falls flat for the second half of it. I felt they got that gradually right. And I thought the sort of detective side of the film as well kept it interesting. Because, and you mentioned it, John, the main character's learning as the audience, or the audience is learning as the main character's learning as well. Yeah.
Well, I'm just looking because I'm already thinking ahead to performances. You said, Ruth, that the inspector was different. Is that Shiva? The character Shiva was different from Tamil to Hindi? Because I'm looking at Shiva. There's 2 Shivas. You've got Ravi Babu, then you've got Murli Sharma. Murli Sharma was the one we seen.
Murli Sharma is the one that you saw.
Yeah.
And
he's a cool looking guy. He's a very cool looking geezer. He puts me in mind of somebody, and I can't for the life of me think who it is. But I'm glad I seen that version, because he looks better than Ravi Babu. No harm to him. But yeah, performances, man. I think this will be the shortest and sweet performance discussion ever. It's Madhavan. How do you say it? Madhavan. I want to say Haven. Madhavan. See, I knew it was Madhavan. I knew it. I've been calling him Madhavan. That's like Mad Martigan. Val
John,
Kilmer
was a
from Willow.
called Madhaven in Scam 1992. That's probably why we think that.
I think it's probably Madhavan in that as well.
Yeah, no, but I think that's how we started saying it that way when we were doing the review. Phonetically.
Yeah, we just say it as we think it would be phonetically. Just Madhaven.
Yeah.
It's Madhavan. Madhavan by far the best performer in this movie, man. The whole movie's about him.
Is it really bad of me to say this at this point? You know, when the poll goes up on the weekend and the hardest one to pronounce, I hope, doesn't win it.
I think that's absolutely fine, Steve.
Because I'm presenting this. Oh,
because you do struggle.
Do you
terrible.
What the title means? Yavarum Nalam.
Fear has a new address.
I actually assumed that it did mean fear has
a new address.
That's what I thought. No.
Yavarum Nalam. Actually, you would think that's what the meaning would be, but no. Yavarum Nalam means everyone.
Yeah.
Nalam means they're fine, so everyone's fine.
All right.
Everyone's good.
I think that was in the subtitles. Actually,
there was the theme song of the serial was saying everything's all right.
Yeah. I never picked up
that was the theme of that.
So it's like everyone's fine. It's like telling the entire family, serial family, they are fine family. Everything's all right.
That was there for it.
That's what the irony was, that the serial family was a very happy family. They were excitedly looking forward to this girl's marriage, and everything had been set, and then in comes this strange, bizarre Pan who has fallen in love with her, and that's exactly what it is. He goes crazy, he decides to kill himself, and then his brother just wipes out the entire family because he lost his brother.
I was slightly confused about that, Ruth, though. That's what I will say. How did that one guy wipe out the whole family? I mean, you'd kick him in. Surely one of them would just give him a slap and say, look, that's you, that's quite enough, on you go. Because that's what we would do in Scotland.
Probably he went berserk, and then I don't know what happened there. I mean, they didn't really show you what happened. I think in that sense it's a little bit more creepier because, he's got this kind of crazed look. The only time you see him killing anybody is the police officer.
Yeah, but they do emphasize the children were murdered as well.
What happened with the family here when he was seeing them again, right? Their faces all changing.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
I think it was like that when the brother was going forward. It was like the kind of sheer shock that the family must have gone through by the fact that it's a very normal family. There's this doctor who has come in and he's upset and everything, and they probably didn't expect it. So probably he got the element of surprise, and that's how he ended up killing the whole family, because they couldn't believe that that's actually happening to them, or
But once he swings the hammer once, that's it. You've just got to say, look, enough, doctor. You're going to be Dr. Dead in a minute. Stupid what I just said there. Stupid. Honestly, ridiculous. Performance. Stephen,
Madhavan for me, yeah.
But I have to say,
explain why. It's just he's the main he's the main presence in the film. He carries the film, and I love the fact
little comedic moments as well.
Yeah. But it does intrigue me, and just when you guys were talking, I was looking at his
Viking Ved is the only other one we've seen him in, Steve. Maybe Joseph Apathy, and he was good in that
Ruth
as well.
has mentioned Three Idiots. I really want to see this film. I thought I wanted to see it because of Amir Khan, but I now want to see it just as much for Madhavan as well.
We really do have to go and watch more Amir Khan movies, incidentally, because Amir's sensational.
Because he's a really good actor.
He's sensational. He was incredible in Dangal.
And Shah Rukh Khan as well.
Shah Rukh Khan, we have to watch Shah Rukh Khan as well. This guy's a superstar. We do have to dabble with this guy. We've seen loads of trailers with him. Neetu Chandra, we spoke about her before we go on, Steve. He says Madhavan was punching above his weight in the movie. Manohar was nowhere near Priya's level. I have to say, I do agree. He's a not bad looking guy, Madhavan, but he's not on Neetu Chandra's level. Is that a performance show?
It's a tough one. Yeah, I don't think you can put her in the pigeonhole of the typical Indian wife that we've seen and we've discussed, where the not wife but romantic part of the film where they're sort of there's no purpose to them or anything like that, or on the flip side of that, the sort of main focus and romantic side that we see in a film like 96 or anything like that with Trisha. I think she
Yeah,
does very
because
well in this
it's
film, though.
more that,
Yeah.
I think she's supposed to be like very natural, a girl that's settled into the marriage.
Yeah,
They've
yeah.
been probably married for a few years. It's how a normal, wife-husband relationship
Yeah.
would be. Them trying to carve out some romantic time on their own,
Yeah.
while living in a combined kind of like a group
Yeah.
family setting. So I think that was pretty nice. The only issue I found with her acting was only one part. After a miscarriage, for her to have that level of chirpiness
Yeah.
Yeah.
still,
Yep.
that seemed a little bit, of course, some time had passed, I guess from the time she was in the hospital and out. But if in real life somebody were to have lost a child, it will take a while, I would think, but maybe it's because she just had the news about the baby and the belly, and then she just lost.
Yeah.
It was barely a full pregnancy or something.
I thought she was
Maybe,
going to fall down the stairs like they did in the series,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it wasn't. I think that's why I was shocked by the electrocution scene,
The shock of
because I
the-
didn't
yeah.
think it was going to be. I thought
Well,
she's
I
going
mean,
down some stairs.
They did set up the
anytime
guy
soon.
with the drill getting shocked, and
Yeah.
he says it was industrial scale power,
Yeah.
and he had to get away. He never came back. I don't blame him. I wouldn't go back either.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That was the other thing. Did you notice that maybe I've watched this movie too many times because I had watched the Hindi and then the Tamil. I can't remember the Hindi version whether it was the same, but where each time they showed that room, right, the
Yeah.
prayer room, they didn't there was no switch. As far as I could tell, there was no switch
No, it was very
on that
bare.
wall.
It was very bare.
But then when he comes in to plug in the drill, then there's a switch. So I think that was something they overlooked. It was like one of those
Potentially.
mistakes that you pick out. But you probably only notice it if you've watched it as many
Yeah.
times as I.
Stephen usually
Trying
notices.
to,
He's the master of the sort of continuity
Yeah.
issues. So did you ever notice the BBG watching Titanic? Did you
Gladiator.
watch
Oh,
Titanic?
was it? What was the one in Gladiator? Was it an airplane?
Gladiator was a full-on modern day crew member with
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
flannel shirt on.
Yeah, I remember the watch one. Yeah.
BBG watch on the Titanic. Yeah, that was a laugh.
Yeah, and there was a
Time travel.
can of Coke or something like that, or a soft drink.
Oh
and
yeah,
it-
short.
There was
Yeah,
a coffee cup
sorry,
in
yes.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I think.
Khaleesi
it might have
Oh,
been-
yeah.
had
it
a
was Game of
Starbucks
Thrones,
cup.
Yeah, well,
that-
that's
I
right.
think
Yeah.
it was a Starbucks cup.
Then there's
or
a
Starbucks,
water
something.
that's
bottle
right.
again in
Yeah,
another scene.
yeah.
The final movie, the final episode, they're all having a meeting. There's a
Yeah.
water bottle next to John. I'm like, they're having a nightmare here. there was questions of them rushing this season, rushing this show to an end, and then they're literally making mistakes like that. It's like, let's just get it done. Come on, get away. We've got other things to
Yeah.
do. We've got Star Wars movies to make. Oh no, we haven't.
It's normally continuity. I can pick up on things
Yeah.
like that with edit and stuff. I don't know why.
Yeah.
The final thing I'm going to say about performances, and it's a regret on my part that I couldn't see the Tamil version. Poonam Dillon, I think it's the mother in the Hindi version. She was all right.
Yeah.
She was a bit of a nagger. She just wanted to sit and watch her TV
You
shows.
wanted
That's
the other
fine.
mother, didn't you?
Saranya
Yeah.
Ponvanen. I think she would have been
Yeah,
better.
Ponvanen.
I think she would have been a much better performance. We've seen her in two other
Yeah.
movies now. We know what we're going to expect from her. She was very, very good in 24.
Yeah.
I think she would have been a better mother presence and performance than what we got from Poonam Dillon. So that's the one regret. I can't really speak on Saranya's performance because I didn't see it. But I think it would have been
Yeah.
better than Poonam.
Yeah, I thought Saranya's performance was better than Poonam Dillon's performance, but
Rub it
I
in,
mean,
Ruth.
No, but then I think also because Saranya Ponvanan has got, I think, more. I think she has done more movies also. So
Yeah.
I think in that sense, she's got. I mean, she's as actors go, she's got more standing as a dramatic actress than I think Poonam Dillon has. Small bit of trivia. You know the interviewer who does the interview of the doctor on the TV? She is in real life. No Raghuvaran, his wife.
Ah,
Oh, there you go.
There you are.
In real life, she was married to Raghuvaran.
There you go, man.
Yeah. Just thought I'd because you like him a lot,
Yeah.
so I was just
Yeah.
like, yes. So just a small segment that she interviews the doctor,
Yeah.
and that
I remember that, yeah.
that was played by his wife. Her name is Rohini. She's also an actress. Yeah.
It's always good to get those little tidbits. I would
Yeah, I
never
love
know that. So that's why it's always good to have you on, Ruth, because you do know this information. And the best example I can think of with that was probably Feed 'em Alive to this day. in terms of reviews we've done, telling us that was his very first picture that he directed. That changed my rating of that movie completely, so it's always good to get that sort of information. We're going to round it up. Who wants to go first with their final thoughts? I will.
I'll go first if you want. You know, this was a film that I think I got a lot more out of than I would expected, and it's maybe based on the fact that I'm not a big horror fan, but when it sort of bridges into the sort of thriller aspect, then you've got my attention. And this film got my attention from start to finish, because I love it when you're along the journey with the main character. I always prefer that. I don't want the character to be 3-4 steps ahead of me. I want to learn as he's learning how it's playing out, and I got that from this film. In terms of suspense, I thought it was built up perfectly. I thought the slow burn nature of the first 40-45 minutes of the movie was perfect for me. We got to know the characters a bit, little bits dropping in there with the sort of photograph warping and stuff like that. I thought it was funny, but I get what they were trying to do. The lift as well, the elevator, that is, things like that. It was just little droplets of weirdness creeping in there, and then it kind of just, once we get to see this television show, which they're all talking about and raving about, and how that plays out, and it's mirroring their lives, that's when it got creepy for me. And I thought the score as well. I thought the score in this film it added that atmosphere to the film. Cinematography, we talked about the close quarters kind of things going on there. I thought they got that absolutely bang on. And the editing, for me, it flowed really well, kept me interested. And for a movie just over 2 hours, that's quite a feat for a horror thriller film as well. So for me, I'm going to butcher his name again here, Madhavan. If I said it right, I don't know.
Madhavan.
For me, I want to go and see more of this guy's films after seeing this. Now, I liked him in Vikram Vedha, but I was there for Vijay Sethupathi, if I'm being honest. But this guy really grabbed my attention in this film. I thought he was great in Vikram Vedha. I thought he was good as an action hero. And this, it was another level of acting.
I can't see
for me. I don't know. Do you want me to hold off my rating just now, John, until we've all gave her little bits?
It's up to you, Steve. You want to go?
I'll hold off until, and then we can give our ratings at the end if you want.
Ruth, do you want to give your final thoughts before I give mine? Because I'd like to go. I'm going to give my rating first. I want your influences.
Okay, my final thoughts are that I really liked the movie because I love the way the suspense built up really well, just like you guys said. So I love the build up of the suspense. I like the fact that they had the color palette. The cinematography was really well done in the sense that it had that kind of almost black and white kind of feel. And then before, and then when things were normal at the end, it had the color, like the full color.
Yeah, it was definitely sepia.
So it's
Washed
kind
out.
of So and I like that whole feel of the whole thing. I like the fact that they dropped little hints at different stages, where you are trying to solve the mystery. Like the whole fact that it's more of a thriller rather than a full-out horror movie. Just the right elements of the supernatural, but majority of it was like very thriller based, as this kind of murder mystery in the center of it. And I absolutely love movies like that. I thought it was a very well told, very well written movie with the right tropes at the right places, where they're kind of dropping clues here and there, and the connection that's being made, between the real life and the real life. I loved all of those things. The fact that like you said, that it was a satire, of the sun. So I liked all of those things, and of course Madhavan, without doubt, he's one of in my list of favorite actors as well. So I really like, and I think what is beautiful about this movie is that 2009 it was made, and even till today, now we are watching it, how many years later, and it still holds your interest as something that you'd find believable even now. And that's very hard to do for horror genre, or because sometimes what's scary at that point of time, with technology and everything being what it is over a period of time, it can look very cheesy. and
It can
this
date
one
you.
doesn't have
Yeah.
that kind of, yes, it can be very dated, and you find that for horror especially, it can get very dated
Yeah.
most of the time, and this one doesn't have that kind of feel. It still feels like, oh, something that you could connect with and that kind of stuff, and doesn't feel like, as I mean, obviously technology is better now, but still the way the story is being told, you don't feel that datedness. So I
Concerned
think
there.
that is very important.
There was something playing in the background, but I can't hear anything. So I must have had a stream up that I was watching. But you can't hear anything either, Steve.
No,
So that's fine.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine. I was getting worried there because we've had issues with audio as well this week, so I was getting slightly
Yeah,
concerned
it
there.
might be my
No, it's not you. No,
Yeah.
I seen something pop up on the left corner. It was like a volume thing with the headphones. I touched my headphones
Oh, okay.
and it come up. I think I was watching a Twitch stream before we come on, but I'd paused it so we couldn't hear it. It's fine. Yeah, look, I agree with you, man.
Yeah.
No, there's been no issues with your audio, man. I agree. Look, it's a horror and a thriller. It's a genre. Combine these two, you have to be very succinct, as I did say. You have to be on point with the editing. This was a 2 or 20-minute movie. I thought it was very well edited. In terms of the way it flowed, it was slow paced at the start, but what I said before, I watch Ari Aster movies, so that's fine. I'm used to it. And then to fling in the sort of thriller mystery elements, the investigative stuff, it was almost like a Columbo episode at the end.
Mm-hmm.
The last 40 minutes or so. You've got stir of echo stuff. You've got maybe even What Lies Beneath. The Harrison Ford movie, was that Michelle Pfeiffer?
Yeah.
These are two horror movies I grew up with and absolutely love. Some of my favourite horror, thriller, mystery movies. You had elements of that. You had elements of other stuff in there that I've enjoyed in the past. So for me, this was an enjoyable watch. I nearly watched it entirely in one sitting. I had to bail because my dog had to go out. It was 4:30 in the morning. I watched it right up to the last 15 minutes. So I don't think you can give higher praise than that with a movie than that you're watching it 2 hours straight and you're comfortable, you're settled in. I thought the director, I'll bring his name up very briefly because I haven't got it in front of me. The director's name was Vikram K. Kumar. I thought he did a great job of getting performances out of Madhavan and a couple of the other characters in there. It was very well written. Technically it was impressive, as you did say, Ruth, as well. The sepia sort of washed out effect. That was just a subtle little hint from the first moment in the movie that there's an atmosphere here. There was something lingering over this house, over the inhabitants. And then at the end you see it all cleared up. It's a happily ever after vibe. There was comedic elements. There wasn't a huge amount of jump out your seat scared moments. There was a couple of little things happened, but for me it wasn't about that. They have got drama horror there first, but for me it was a thriller horror in all but name. I enjoyed it, man. I thought it was a good experience, and as you did say, I want to see more of Madhavan. We've seen him in 2 different movies now. We've seen him playing this sort of wholesome sort of family figure dealing with paranormal stuff, and we've seen him playing a sort of good guy in a binary good bad guy gangster crime sort of movie with Vijay Sethupathi. I want to see what this guy can do, and I enjoyed it. But look, man, who's going first with rating? Shall I go first?
Yeah.
I'm going to give this movie a C+. Thought it was good.
Whoa.
It was a good watch.
Okay.
I think that's about as high, realistically, that I could go with a horror movie, unless it's something utterly incredible like The Shining or
Yeah.
Unique, yeah.
something mind-blowing in
Yeah.
horror. I think horror, the ceiling of horror can really only be a C+. Even like Ari Aster, I'd give Hereditary like a C+. I've not seen Midsummer yet. I actually need to go and watch that. That's the ceiling for horror for me. It can only ever be a good thing. The Conjuring's there, C+ movies. What's your thoughts, Stephen? I'll let you go and then we'll give Ruth
I'm giving it a solid C.
a solid C. You're a tough master, Stephen, but look, you're not usually into this kind of movie, so that's absolutely fine. That's a good rating. Ruth, what are you giving the movie?
Yeah, it was a tough call between a C and a C+, but I think I'll lean towards a C+.
Yeah. Listen, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very good watch. It also had issues with trials and tribulations. Try to get the proper version. I say proper version. That's probably offensive to the North India. Because they were like, that is a proper version. 13B Fear is a new address, is a proper version. Bitch, the Tamil version is a different version. And then people from Tamil, Nadu will say, no, that's the wrong version. This is the proper version. For me, I wanted to see the Tamil version. It's a shame I didn't get to see it. But look, it didn't destroy my enjoyment of the movie. There were subtle differences in there. I think Saranya Ponvinen would have made it a slightly better watch. Just because she's, I think, just a slight... I'm being harsh on Poonam Dillon here. I don't really know much about her, but I've seen more of Saranya, so I'm going to say she's a better actor.
A good actress,
Yeah, she's a wonderful mother. Yeah.
She's a wonderful mother. Yeah, she's a wonderful mother to me. Sewing up my fly. That's John Lennon from Imagine.
Yeah.
Look, I think I thought it was an enjoyable watch. If we'd got to see the Tamil version, I think it would have been just a little bit better, because realistically that's what we've been watching for the last 6-7 months has been Tamil stuff. We started off with Hindi, dabbled with Telugu, and then we're now into Tamil. But it is what it is, man. I enjoyed it. I'm more into horror than Stephen is traditionally, and I like my thriller aspect, so this for me was a very good watch. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and thank you very much to all the people who voted for it. We will be doing that again. The 3 other movies.
Yeah, 3 movies. Yeah.
We'll be getting back to getting voted on.
Month of horror.
Please, I'm not trying to influence you here, but vote for Tumbad. 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 Vote for Tumbad. Tumbad. Can you hear that? Something whispering in my headset there. I can't hear that. Who's saying that?
I'm excited to watch that as well.
Who's saying that? Somebody said Tumbad there.
Yeah.
Somebody said, how silly is that, man? Somebody saying Tumbad.
That will be interesting to do, because that will be a movie that I haven't watched at all. So, which means that
I've heard good things
my
about
reaction will be just as fresh as yours.
Yeah, but I've heard very good things. We've had quite a few people asking us to react to the trailer. I don't know if we ever did react to that trailer. I think we may have, did we?
Can't remember.
I don't know. But look, I'm enjoying it. What is this? I've got someone messaging me on YouTube. Bugger off. Somebody I'm arguing with. It's Celtic related, it's fine. It's regarding the Rangers game in January. I made a statement. It's get quite popular. Look, that's going to round it up. Round up our reaction of 13B. Fear has a new address, and the Tamil name is, I've not got it. What's the Tamil name?
Yavarum Nalam.
Yavarum Nalam.
Oh, the graphics away now.
Oh yeah, shit, I had it there. Yavarum Nalam. What is your thoughts on that movie? What's your thoughts on Madhavan? What's your thoughts on the concept? Do you agree with us? Certainly the first guy to comment did agree that this is more of a thriller horror rather than a horror drama thriller. I thought it was more thrilleristic. What was your thoughts? You can comment, but what's your thoughts on our review? Thoughts on our grading? Do you disagree? What would you grade this maybe? You can comment down below if you get anything to say at all, and share your thoughts in the comments section. And you can like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and follow over on Twitch as well if you want to see more content like this in the future. By all accounts, someone did follow before we even came on. Thank you for that again. I will get round to setting up whatever the hell they're called, notifications, alerts on Twitch. I've still not done it because I'm clearly lazy and busy. But look, until then, if you subscribe, you'll see us. If you don't, probably see us again anyway. I'm sure you'll pop in at some point. But wait, until then, man, we're done. Stephen and me are done. Harley's done. Beast farting. Bye, guys.